So there is a perfect storm brewing, and when it reaches the US economy, things might turn terrible fast. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at several different factors that could literally tank the US economy in the coming months, so you're not going to want to miss this one. Welcome back to the VIP Financial Education YouTube channel, my friend, where we help you go further, faster financially, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. As mentioned at the top of the video, we're going to be diving into some potentially devastating things for the economy that we all need to be keeping an eye on. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right in. To start, a realization is dawning on American families. Elevated interest rates are here to stay for the foreseeable future. Although the US economy has remained resilient since the Federal Reserve began its rate hikes last year, households that took advantage of low interest rates for mortgages or for auto loans before this are in a relatively comfortable position, while those that didn't are really left on the sidelines and potentially indefinitely. That said, these higher interest rates are advantageous for savers as they get better returns on their unused cash. I'm currently receiving 4.25%. I know 4.5% is available. However, these sustained high rates are impacting those households that actually need to borrow money right now, especially for significant expenses like homes and vehicles. Credit card users are also feeling a lot of pressure too, as credit card interest rates have risen well above 20%. Now, the Federal Reserve's intent behind these hikes is really to temper the economy and control inflation, and indications from the Fed suggest another potential rate hike this year. And that means that downward adjustment of rates might not happen in the near future. So how is the higher interest rate landscape affecting American households? Well, let's go ahead and start first with the upsides. For the first time in a while, the sting of inflation has eased, and over the summer, wage growth outstripped inflation, marking a first since 2021. Consumer prices have actually risen slower than anticipated as well. The employment sector remains robust, albeit with a decline in growth over the summer. To date, the rate hikes haven't detoured consumer spending, with consistent expenditures on non-essential items like travel and dining and clothing. All the restaurants are full that I'm going into. And despite depleting the surplus savings accrued during the pandemic's early stages, many households' account balances remain higher compared to pre-pandemic years. So there have been some good signs economically. However, there are many which trend the other way. To start, JP Morgan recently projected that Brent oil prices might soar to $150 per barrel. This is not a good sign for inflation, as the cost of oil produces ripple effects throughout the majority of the economy. And this announcement from JP Morgan is highlighting strong demand and limited supply. The bank's projection aligns with the worldwide economic rebound post-pandemic, marked by heightened energy usage across different sectors. Now, this renewed demand for oil and related energy resources is actually driving their prices upwards further, and it will have a noticeable effect on many facets of the economy, since oil has a hand in nearly all aspects of commerce. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how the spike in oil prices is going to affect inflation levels in the coming months, but it certainly could boost inflation again, making additional future rate hikes inevitable from the Fed. And this is bad news, as the rate hikes have already played a huge role in the higher housing costs and climbing layoffs in certain sectors. Some industries, especially sensitive to rate changes, like mortgage providers, they've started laying off employees, and a lot of them. The most pronounced effect of the Fed's high interest rate policy is in the housing sector, where it's made home ownership inaccessible for many, many, many people. And we've all seen just how these elevated rates have significantly increased monthly mortgage payments. And if you couple that with the surge in property prices since the pandemic's onset, and homeownership has become not only challenging, but downright impossible for a lot of people. By July, the median US household required 44% of its annual income for payments on a median priced home. That's a record high since data collection began back in 2006. Vehicle buyers too, they're grappling with the combined effect of soaring prices since the pandemic, and also the high interest rates on those auto loans as well. On average, new cars demanded monthly payments of about $725 in quarter two, and used cars exceeded $500. based on experience data. Now, there's a rising trend in Americans resorting to borrowing, with record high debts observed again in credit cards, auto loans, both of these back in the second quarter. It's going to be a challenge many households are going to face to manage their finances effectively, and a concerning trend is that several households are nearing their financial limits. Delinquencies on credit cards and auto loan balances have surpassed pre-pandemic figures in the second quarter, as per New York Fed's data. All of this has increased the appeal of payday and other high interest short-term loans. These are very predatory types of loans, with a 35% rise in users taking these loans out for the first time in over a year during the second quarter. Conversely, obtaining traditional loans is really becoming more and more challenging, with almost 60% of households claiming increases in difficulty securing credit and other types of debts compared to the previous year. Now, all of these issues may pale in comparison to what we may be in store for when the federal student loan repayments resume. The U.S. will see almost 44 million student loan borrowers resuming payments in October, and this change is expected to ripple through the economy. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the combination of our high interest rates, high housing prices, risk of inflation, and the resumption of student loan payments is going to affect the economy as a whole in the coming months. It sure seems like a convergence of factors that may lead to a so-called perfect storm for an economic downturn. But it seems like most outlets are relatively optimistic. So we're going to have to see. Obviously, it's a waiting game, and anybody that says what's going to happen is speculating. From where I'm sitting, it does look as though the lower and middle classes are situated to take the brunt of the negative effects these factors are going to produce as usual. But what do you think? I am curious to hear whether you think these factors are frightening or just another thing that we're going to have to wait and see about. Be sure to leave a comment below with your thoughts. Also, if you found this information valuable, of course, please give it a thumbs up. That helps us with the YouTube algorithm greatly. We've been impacted a lot over this year with our view counts. We have a tremendous audience still that has been really interactive and taking advantage of many of the concepts and ideas that we teach here, and how you can hack the banking system to continue to grow that cash flow. So with that, I say, until we see you on the next one, make it a great day and keep on cash flowing. See you soon, friend. Bye-bye.